Okay, so this is a look at the schedule for the week, just trying to indicate the prep time, so where the students go to other things. So for Monday for library, they're going to need their library books. They have health on Tuesday, so they don't actually need anything from there, although I think they still need to practice their phone numbers and addresses and stuff as part of the safety. So if they don't know that, then that would be good information for them to practice at home on the weekend. On Wednesday, again, we've got phys ed, so just something to think about on. So they're going to need shoes, and in fact, they're going to need shoes all week because they really need to have indoor shoes because of the snow. So if you can make sure you send some shoes, that would be great. Thursday is computers, so they don't need to bring anything for that, but they do go to computers with Mr. Caruso. And Friday we're in phys ed again, so they're also going to need to have the running shoes for that. And you can also see my own meetings and things this week too, which may impact on just any times that I may be unavailable for other meetings and things, but you can see the schedule from there. Okay, so this week then I've got a few different things happening. So on Monday, I'm actually out in a meeting all day, so there is a supply teacher. But the supply teacher is going to be working a bit with our picnic game that we've been looking at for phonemic awareness and looking at it in writing. So we're going to kind of review some of those skills as part of writing and then get students to make some of their own. They kind of have a look of riddles a little bit, and then students can share some of them with the class. On Tuesday, we're going to get into the idea of some classroom helpers. This is going to link to the social studies things that we've been doing and trying to take more responsibility in the classroom, but to also give a list of specific roles of jobs that people can do, with hope that they also see how much that we really rely on them being at school. So that, what are we going to do if someone isn't there to do their job? Who else could do it? And the need for the student to be there, because what's the impact that's going to happen if someone is not there, so that they can start to see the need for people to be there. So and from a writing perspective, it will be a good review for some of the letter sounds to spell, looking at the little chunks of words as well, and a nice link to the social studies too. And they are taking more of an interest in the classroom helper piece, so it is a nice timing piece too. And then in terms of the classroom helpers, looking at explaining the responsibilities of each of the helpers. So kind of coming up with the list from there on what they can do, and then expanding on the ideas in some kind of graphic organizer to help with that. And then on Thursday, we're going to look at the book page. This will be done for the 100th day. Just looking ahead at the 100th day, I'm thinking I need to do a little bit in advance. So we're going to look at a labeled picture to show what they've learned, and kind of look that idea how an image can tell a story. So what could the story be? And then looking at how to do some of the labels and things from there, looking at the size of the image too, so the students can work on that piece as well. And then and some of them might even want to look at then telling kind of the oral story that can then help with the writing piece on the next day. And then on Friday, it is the 100th day, and that's when they're going to do the writing and editing of their book contributions. And they can kind of look together at making a list of what are the things that we need to. Okay, so we're making a list of things that they can edit for. So what are the things that they need to edit for? And then looking at how they can tell their story. For some of them, they may want to even look at some of the oral contributions for this piece. So what can they do orally to kind of tell their story as well as doing the written piece. And this could, as I said, work its way into more of a guided group too, for a little more assistance. Okay, the other piece with language this week is we're going to be starting our phonemic awareness groups. That's actually part of the planning for Monday. And so what that means is we're looking at how we can mix the students between the different grade 1 classes in order to form these different groups, and that's going to be a chunk of our time beginning on Tuesday. So the schedule is going to change a little bit for that, and what I'm going to do to kind of accommodate and still give that writer's workshop time, which I believe is really important and has helped develop skills, is looking at independent reading first thing in the morning, and that will be followed by a group rotation. And as they work on that independent reading will also be when I take other guided groups, so that basically it's going to, that plus the group rotation is going to take the first couple of periods, and then in the middle block is when I'm going to get into our writer's workshop piece with the mini lesson, and then which may get kind of finished just towards the end with our math piece, and we will finish from there. So we'll see how it works. It is a different system, so we'll just all need to be a little bit flexible with it, but I'll talk to the students to try to prepare them for just the way that it will be a little bit different. Okay, so for math this week, on Monday, when I'm not there, it's going to be Math Talk Mondays. And I have a portrait picture, thanks to Miss Wedgwood, to help out. And then we're going to look at some of Picasso's portraits and look at the idea of the symmetrical and asymmetrical, so not symmetrical ones, and what that impact might be. Does it make a difference in terms of how they feel? Why does it matter? And then letting students create their own using different materials in the classroom and taking some pictures of what they've created. This is about art, but kind of art using those kind of found materials. So kind of setting up some different found items that they can use for the point of creating art, and then really looking, that will narrow in on the idea of size and shape, which are very much those math concepts as well as the artistic piece. And then on Tuesday, we're going to finish our symmetrical and asymmetrical pictures from the other day. Hopefully some of what they've learned on Monday will impact as they try to finish off some of their pieces, and looking again at that question of if symmetry matters and why, in what case, why might an artist or someone else choose to use symmetry. So we can kind of get into some deeper understanding of the concept. Okay, and then on Wednesday, we're going to apply what we've kind of learned on symmetry when it comes to symmetrical buildings versus ones that are not symmetrical. And does symmetry matter when it comes to design, and why does it always matter? Are there buildings that aren't symmetrical, and what decisions might need to be made? And then looking again at the idea of the materials with the structure. So those two pieces will really kind of tie in and will lead us nicely into Thursday, when we're going to be working with Miss Nicolaitis's grade 7s in a design challenge, and it will impact on both the math and the science when it comes to the structures that they're going to be creating. So they are going to be creating some structures together using some different materials. And again, that whole concept of materials will very much tie into their piece in terms of what they've done and the reflection part. And then on Friday, it is our 100th day. And because we will still be doing our phonemic awareness groups and stuff and looking at the timing, I'm thinking I am going to do it a little differently than I had even secondly initially planned, because I continue to kind of revamp the plans for the day. But we are going to look a little bit at a makerspace and exploring the concepts of weight and amount of materials. And I'm going to have a few different design challenges and looking at structures also for enclosing, which is something we haven't done yet. So to hold something, which does get nicely into the idea of the 3D figures and packaging, which, while nets are not a part of the grade 1 curriculum per se, this does actually kind of lead itself later to that understanding of nets, which does come up in later grades when it comes to math. And then the last part is that we're also going to be doing our 3 Bears shared reading this week, which we kind of started last week. And there is a nice link to the creation of structures. And when the grade 7s leave on Thursday, we might even want to kind of explore the kinds of structures that could be made for a play and to try to create some of them that are needed. And this can also be tied to Friday and the makerspace that we're going to be doing for the 100th day. Again, with the exploring of the weight of the actual item versus the materials, and what we need to do and compare them, which, while not everything is going to add up to 100 or 100 pounds, it will certainly hopefully add to a better understanding of number and what that number actually means, which I think is the whole big reason even behind the 100th day in the first place.